Okay, let's dive in. Picture this. You've just written down with Big Brother in your diary, which is forbidden.
Yeah.
And then, knock, knock, someone's at the door.
Right. The panic moment.
Total panic. You look over, and the diary, it's sitting there, wide open. You can practically read it from the doorway. That's where we find Winston Smith in 1984.
And the text calls it an inconceivably stupid thing to have done.
Right.
But what's fascinating is why he left it open.
Right. It wasn't just panic.
No, it was because he didn't want to smudge the ink on the nice creamy paper. It's this tiny detail, almost aesthetic, but it shows how, even terrified, that little human desire for something nice or proper can just, pop up and make you vulnerable.
That's, wow, a chilling insight right there at the start.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission today is to really get into this key chapter of 1984. We want to pull out the crucial details about how a totalitarian state like this one gets its hooks into everything.
Everything, like public spaces, private thoughts, even how families work or don't work.
Exactly. And okay, it's fiction, but you read this chapter and it's packed with these unsettling details about control.
Yeah, and they give you these aha moments, or maybe oh no moments, about freedom, fear, how these things actually operate.
Okay, so Winston opens the door. Who's there? Mrs. Parsons, his neighbor.
Right, and the description of her is just bleak.
It really is. Colorless, crushed-looking, wispy hair, lined face, even dust in the creases of her face. What does she tell us just by looking like that?
Well, she's basically a walking billboard for the party's effect on people. It grinds them down. Yeah. Even the language. The party didn't like people using Mrs., did they?
Oh, right. They preferred comrade.
Yeah, comrade.
Yeah.
It seems small, but taking away those little courtesies, those bits of normal life, it adds up as part of the dehumanizing process. She looks and sounds utterly worn out by it all.
And it's not just the people feeling worn out. The building they live in, Victory Mansions, it's literally falling apart.
Oh, absolutely. The descriptions are vivid. Old flats falling to pieces.
Plaster flaking off the walls, pipes bursting when it freezes, the roof leaks.
Leaks when it snows, yeah. And the heating barely works. It's often off to save money, quote-unquote, economy.
Which seems weird, right? This all-powerful party lets its main housing blocks crumble. Why?
That's the really key point. The book mentions repairs getting stuck for, 2 years? In committees somewhere?
2 years?
Yeah. It's not just oversight. It shows the party's priorities. The average person's comfort. Way down the list. It keeps people focused on basic survival, keeps them feeling helpless.
And creates this grim uniform feeling, like that smell you mentioned.
Ah, the boiled cabbage smell.
Yeah.
It's everywhere in the building. It's like the smell of neglect, the smell of the regime itself. Functional, maybe, but deeply unpleasant.
So, okay, the place is falling apart. People look crushed. You'd think maybe people would be restless, angry. How does the party keep control if things are so bad?
Well, force is part of it. The thought police are always there in the background. But this chapter suggests something maybe more important. The unquestioning devoted drudges, like Tom Parsons, Mrs. Parsons' husband.
Right, the neighbor. Described as having a paralyzing stupidity and a massive imbecile enthusiasm. That doesn't sound very reliable.
But that's exactly what the party wants. Not cleverness, not independent of thought. They want people like Parsons, enthusiastic, loyal, never questioning. The source says the party's stability relies more on people like him than on the thought police.
Wow. Okay. And he really throws himself into it, doesn't he? All the party stuff.
Oh, completely. He loves it. The youth league, the spies stayed in that longer than he was supposed to. Sports committee, organizing hikes, demos.
Savings campaigns, it sounds exhausting.
It is exhausting. And that's the point. Keep people busy, keep them participating, keep them tired. The source mentions his quiet pride in going to the community center every single night.
Every night.
For 4 years, he says. And there's that other detail, the smell.
Oh, yeah, not cabbage this time.
No, sweat. An overpowering smell of sweat follows him around. It's like the physical marker of his constant, strenuous, unthinking activity for the party. The smell of obedience.
It paints such a bleak picture for the adults. Just constant motion, constant obedience. But you mentioned families earlier. Does this control, does it get into the family too?
Oh, does it ever? That's maybe the most chilling part of this whole section. The party actively undermines the family, turns kids into, well, the book calls them child heroes.
Child heroes, that sounds wrong.
It is. We see the Parsons kids, 9-year-old boy, younger sister. They're in their spies' uniforms, blue shorts, gray shirts, red neckerchiefs.
And what's the first thing they do when they see Winston?
They yell, "Up with your hands!" Point a toy gun at him. Start screaming accusations.
Like what?
You're a traitor. You're a thought criminal.
Yeah.
You're a Eurasian sky. It's their game. But it's exactly the party line. They've absorbed it completely.
And it's not just games, is it? There's that bit about the public hanging.
Uh-huh. They're furious. They missed it. A hanging of Eurasian prisoners. Apparently, it's a popular spectacle. Kids clamored to go. Think about that. Training children to desire violence, public execution as entertainment.
Grim is an understatement.
And Winston figures it out. He sees that the kids are systematically turned into ungovernable little savages. But crucially, their savagery is directed outwards. Against the party's enemies.
Enemies of the state, yeah. Which means
anyone over 30 is scared of their own kids. Because these kids, these child heroes, they're encouraged to listen, to watch their parents.
And report them.
Denounce them to the thought police. We even see the boy hit Winston with a catapult later, yelling, Goldstein.
Goldstein, the ultimate enemy figure.
Exactly. It shows indoctrination in action. Raw aggression, aimed exactly where the party wants it.
And Mrs. Parsons, she just seems terrified of them.
Utterly. Helpless fright is the phrase used. Her own children are little agents of the state in her own home. When your family is turned against you like that, what's left?
It's terrifying. Which brings us to the bigger picture of control. The surveillance, the propaganda. How does the party keep everyone locked into this mindset?
Well, the telescreen is huge, obviously. It's everywhere. And it's never off.
Blasting out music, news.
Yeah, military music. Then a news flash. Glorious victory, followed immediately by
the chocolate ration is being reduced.
From 30 grams to 20. Classic doublethink right there. Celebrate victory while announcing scarcity. And you're supposed to just accept both. Plus, the national anthem plays, and you have to stand up straight away.
Constant conditioning. And then there are the slogans everywhere.
Everywhere. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength.
On money, stamps, books, posters.
Cigarette packets. You literally consume the propaganda. They're not just slogans. They're designed to break your brain, to make you accept contradictions until truth doesn't mean anything.
It's inescapable. The book says, always the eyes watching you and the voice enveloping you. No escape.
Exactly. No physical escape. And they're trying to eliminate mental escape, too. Deny any objective reality outside the party's version.
Which leads Winston to that really stark realization. There's no privacy. At all.
None. Nothing was your own. Except the few cubic centimeters inside your skull. That's it. That's the only space left.
And even that feels precarious. He talks about the Ministry of Truth where he works, this giant pyramid building.
Yeah, enormous pyramidal shape. Impossible to attack, impossible to storm. It symbolizes the party's power. Solid, overwhelming, impenetrable. Like the ideology itself.
So stuck in this nightmare, basically. How does Winston cope? What's going through his head?
He feels completely lost. Isolated, like he's the monster in this world because he thinks differently. The past is gone. The future seems impossible. Who is he even writing the diary for?
He worries no one will ever read it, right? That he'll just vanish without a trace.
Yeah, not a trace of you. Could physically survive. Total erasure. It's a profound despair.
There's something else, isn't there? A flicker of something. That dream about O'Brien.
Ah, yes. O'Brien. This mysterious inter-party member Winston feels some kind of connection to. He dreams with our guys. O'Brien says to him, "We shall meet in the place where there is no darkness."
What does that even mean?
He doesn't know. And he doesn't even know if O'Brien is friend or foe. But that phrase, it creates a link of understanding. It feels important, more important than loyalty, or even liking someone. It's like a tiny anchor in the storm.
The psychological lifeline.
Exactly. In a world designed to break all human connection, even a cryptic phrase from a dream can feel like resistance. Which loops back to the diary.
His main act of resistance, just writing things down.
Writing down his thoughts. And he writes that sentence, "Thought crime does not entail death. Thought crime is death."
Powerful. What's he saying there?
He's recognizing the party's ultimate goal. It's not just punishing dissent. It's eliminating the possibility of dissent at the level of thought. If you can think the wrong thing, you are already dead in their eyes. So writing is an act of being alive against their definition.
It's his way of holding on to sanity, onto himself, talking to a future or a past where thought is free.
And his final little act of defiance in this chapter is so meticulous and kind of heartbreaking.
What does he do?
After he closes the diary, he finds a tiny grain of white dust, and he carefully places it on the corner of the cover.
Why?
So he can tell if someone moves it, if it's discovered. It's this incredibly small, almost pathetic gesture of self-preservation in a world of total surveillance. It shows how high the stakes are and how brave even that tiny act is.
Wow, okay. So pulling this all together, what does this deep dive into just one part of 1984 really show us?
Well, it lays bare the mechanics of totalitarianism, doesn't it? How it's not just about brute force, it's about systematically breaking down everything: freedom, family, truth itself.
Using surveillance, propaganda, psychological manipulation, even decaying buildings and the smell of cabbage.
Right, and weaponizing things like loyalty, enthusiasm, even children's play. It shows how control can be woven into the very fabric of daily life until there's almost no room left to breathe or think.
It's a stark picture of how a society can be twisted when truth becomes flexible and fear is the main currency.
Definitely. It's a powerful reminder of, well, the fragility of freedom and the importance of independent thought.
So that leaves us with a pretty heavy thought. If, like Winston writes, thought crime is death, and the only space you truly own is that tiny bit inside your skull, what does rebellion even look like then?
Yeah.
How do you keep truth alive, even just for yourself, when the whole world is built on lies and watching your every move? Something to think about.